Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series X-Men 60 years. We have the Deluxe, the Blob figure. So Marvel Hasbro Marvel Legends are celebrating the 60th anniversary of X-Men with a few releases in the X-Men 60 years kind of banner and marketing there. The big program is going to be the 60th anniversary of the Avengers in the fall program, where they do the 10 different sets kind of things. So X-Men just got a couple of things. So really, you know, the Blob, the 2-3 packs, and that's kind of it, I guess, for X-Men to celebrate 60 years. The 3 packs are really cool when we get, you know, a team complete like that, which is awesome. But here we have a new Blob, which was great to get an update to the previous one. It was going for a lot of money. It was a really old Hasbro Build-A-Figure. And it looked pretty good. I sold mine as soon as this one was announced because this one is just so much better than the other one. The other one, it was cool, but the articulation kind of sucks. He had a lot of rolls and stuff to him. I think this is going to be a better figure. Unfortunately, I can't do a full-on side-by-side comparison for you guys. But just know that I think this one's definitely going to be better. I think it's going to be a little bit shorter. Bulk-wise, he's probably about the same width from belly to back. But again, I do think this is a better figure overall. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is the $55.99 price tag. It's high. It's stupid high. It's really high. Too high, in my opinion. Now, some deluxe figures, whatnot, you know, 56 bucks. Being the deluxe, like the big deluxe price, right? So we're talking Mojo, $56 price, right? That's a $56 deluxe figure, and I'm happy with $56 for Mojo, even though I paid $41.99 at Target. $55.99 I think is a pretty fair price, right? We can always talk about what's a fair price and what isn't. $55.99 is the price, so that's what Hasbro has set as the price. There's no going around that. So are you willing to pay that, to pay the price that they say? Some people are, some people aren't. $55.99, I would have gladly done it for Mojo. I'm gonna do it for any figure because I'm gonna review them all for you guys. I'm a completist. But $55.99 for Blob sucks. Like this is not a $56 figure. Now, there's a couple of ways people look at it. People are fine paying the price because they don't want to pay the $150 to $200 that the old Build-A-Figure was going for. So then $56 compared to that, sure. But that's not how you should look at it. You should look at it $56 for a new figure. Is that worth it? In this case, no, hell no, it's not. It's just not at the level that Mojo was. It's not. Yes, it's all unique sculpting and all this and that, sure, but it's not crazy compared to other figures. Like Mojo had these like tentacle little claw legs things, this big old thing that comes around his head and all this and that. Blob is still just a figure. He's got 2 legs, he's got 2 arms, he's got a torso and a head, extra hands. So to me, it's not worth it. But you know, I got it from Big Bad Toy Store, $57.99. So there was a $2 premium because Big Bad Toy Store does that with all their damn figures. And then priority shipping. This thing was like $83 shipped, which is insane. Like, that's way too damn much to pay for this figure. It just is. But anyway, we'll get into it. Side artwork of the Blob. That's some old school ass artwork there on the back. 3D render of the figure there. 3D render on the back. It is just a straight up rectangular box. They didn't put any curved or anything to it. That's enough of that. Here we have the Blob. Let's get in for a closer look. Almost 4 minutes in. That's almost a record. It's actually not even close. Here we go. Okay, so I'm experimenting with some different light setups and things like that here in my review station. Hopefully you guys can actually have a much better look at the figure. That's really what I was going for. But anyway, here is the Blob. That head sculpt looks pretty good. He also comes with this open mouth one that I don't think looks as good, but it's still pretty good. But looking at that there, you actually get some skin, like, I don't know what you would call them, just some skin coloration kind of throughout, as you could see in his arms, you could see it in his face there, you could see it in his legs and stuff. It all looks pretty good. And there's his big fat ass. It's just, yeah, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good figure. It's got some decent weight to it. That is hard plastic. It's not like Mojo, where Mojo had a soft rubber body. That's kind of what I thought they were going to do with this figure. They did not. Pretty minimal painting, so we get some yellow over the blue, and here's my thing with yellow over blue. Hasbro doesn't get it right. They just don't, because that's not enough yellow paint layers to fully cover the blue. You see how it looks green in some spots where you could just see the blue there? It bleeds through. It's not good. don't do it, or put more yellow paint on there. I wish it would come out better. And for $56, $83 after tax and shipping with U.S. priority shipping, because he's a heavy boy from Big Bad Toy Store, I would expect more from that. This to me is like the $35 deluxe price, right? Not the $56 deluxe price. Yes, and then Hasbro always does that premium price for anniversary figures, right? The fall program, the 10th anniversary stuff, 20th anniversary, whatever the fall program is always had $5 more per figure or so. That is still not the case with this one. Yes, it's at a higher price, but it's still just too high. But anyway, I could complain about the price all day long, but you guys don't want to hear about the price. You guys want to hear about the figure. But anyway, he's got really good size to him. He's got really good sculpt to him. So he's not just completely like smooth round in his belly and stuff. There's kind of some curves and things to him, realistic of how a bigger guy would look, especially, you know, somebody in like this singlet type thing. He's got some rolls to him here where his body and his muscle and everything would come together. That actually came out all looking pretty good. It really did. So we're going to pop this head off now. It is on a dumbbell joint there, and you can see how like the neck piece goes. We're going to pop on this other head of his. We're going to take a look at that. It says hair. Yeah, hair's different. No sideburns. Yeah, that's just a funny looking head sculpt to me. I don't like it as much, but it does look pretty good, and they executed it really well, having the tongue in there, the teeth. It all came out looking really clean, so I'm sure it's just a hole in there, and then that mouthpiece is glued in there. But again, does look really, really good. And then in terms of accessories, right, he's got an open hand for his left. We also get one for his right, which is more of like a holding hand, as you can see. On his right, he has a fist, and we get an extra fist for the left hand, so we can swap out those hands. So that is pretty good. But now let's see how he moves. And it's not a huge amount, but I think it's still pretty good. Okay, let's see Blob, how he can move around. So the head being on a dumbbell joint, he can't really look down a whole lot. But the good thing is he can actually look up a fair amount there. You get some really good pivot going on in the head too. So that is good. You can't actually do a full rotation in there because this triple, quadruple chin just gets in the way, so you can only move so much. The shoulder you can get to go out straight, so that is pretty good. So if you wanted to, look at that, he could do a full-on T-pose. That's cool. You get a full rotation on that shoulder. No bicep swivel or anything like that. We get a single jointed elbow. Again, $56 figure. Couldn't get us a double jointed elbow. Now that's just me being cynical. I don't know how well a double jointed elbow would have looked on something where you really want to showcase how large and thick his arms are. That double joint at the elbow probably wouldn't have been the best look. I will admit that, but I always prefer double jointed over single jointed. Maybe that's just me. But 90 degrees at that elbow, and you can actually see the hinge. If you just kind of forget about how that hinge looks, then it's okay. But in my opinion, it's pretty ugly looking. And then there is a swivel at that elbow. You get a swivel at the wrist. The hands hinge, and they both have the standard horizontal hinge. Now Blob has a diaphragm cut, so how much he can move around? I guess it's a lot more than I thought. So he can pivot to his left that much. He can pivot to his right that much there. Hey, not too bad. And that actually looks semi-realistic, right? Going back is not a lot, so that's back. That almost looks like he's standing straight up, right? That's forward. That's not too bad. I mean, how realistically, right? A man of this size, how far forward could he really move? Probably not going to be a whole lot. No waist swivel on this, because how could you have done it? The way he has a realistic looking belly. Like if they would have put a swivel at this belly, anytime you turn it, I think it would have looked really bad. So you get the swivel at the diaphragm, and I think that actually works out pretty well. Legs go out that far apart. That's actually a whole lot for these thick ass legs, but look at those ugly inner cuts on those thighs. But if you look at it straight on, you don't see him. Not a big deal, but just a heads up on that. Kicking forward, he can kick forward that much. Impressive for a man of his size. And the leg actually goes back as well, so that's pretty good. We get a thick ass thigh cut there. You get a single jointed knee, so bend at the knee is less than 90 degrees, not a whole lot going on there, and the hinge is super noticeable, as you can see there, and they didn't really paint in any of that skin texture, the skin discoloration into that hinge, which I think really makes it stand out. It would have been nice if they would have done that. Maybe it would have rubbed off anyway, and then it would just non-existent be there, but I think it would have made it look a whole hell of a lot better. The same on those hinges on the back of the legs. They didn't get any of the coloration, whereas the rest of the legs actually do. There is no boot swivel on the guy, even though you think it could have done it. They did not. Really stiff ankle, but it hinges down that much. You get hinge up a little bit, as you can see, ankle pivot, and tiny ass peg holes there on the bottom of his feet, which just look small. They are the standard size that you would see with other figures. So there is the Blob and his articulation. But now let's see how Blob looks to some other figures. Okay, so there is Wolverine, Cyclops, and Dark Phoenix next to Blob. So it is a massive size difference between, you know, amongst the shortest, like Wolverine, and Cyclops, which is, you know, kind of the standard Bucky cap. So crazy difference. Okay, so here we have the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants all pictured together. We have Magneto, Avalanche, the new Avalanche from the retro wave, Toad, Mystique, and Pyro. So they all look really good together. Of course, Blob towers over them, is just massive in size. So the figure is pretty good. The problem is it's just not worth the $56. But that's just my opinion on it. You guys let me know down in the comments below. What do you think of the Blob figure? Are you looking forward to it? Are you going to stick with your old Build-A-Figure? Or are you going to pick it up because you didn't get the old Build-A-Figure? What do you think of the price? Let me know in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit that join button to become a channel member and be a part of the MCU collective. And as always, thank you for watching.